Hey singers, welcome back to the weekly warm-up. I'm Laura. Here on the channel, I love to share clear, fun voice education to help you improve your singing and enjoy it more. Last week, I introduced the idea of performance anxiety and told you about not only my experience, but also how I changed the way I practice to really intentionally focus on performance, and how much that created more success for me and also a lot less mental drama. So today I'd like to take you through kind of the other part of the equation, which is what happens the actual day of the performance, what I do immediately before the performance and especially in the performance itself, so that that anxiety doesn't take over and ruin all that great work that I've done in my practicing. So when it comes to the day of, a lot of people will tell you their very specific routines for I eat this and I walk for this many minutes or I, sleep for this long. I don't have any of those kinds of practical tips for you because I think you just do what works for you. I don't think that there's any standard procedure. And frankly, I think that the whole benefit of any of those kinds of routines is in the belief that they work. If you believe that eating an egg salad sandwich is going to make you have a great performance, it probably will because you believe in it. So, overall, I would say, do what makes you feel good in terms of the real nuts and bolts stuff, what you're eating, what you're drinking, that kind of stuff. What I do recommend, though, the day of the performance is to take the time to set an intention for how you want the music to go in the performance. So we're really now talking about the mental game. And I really do think that that is the piece that we are, first of all, not trained to do in our music training, in lessons, in rehearsals, in conservatory even. But also, that is really where you can make it or break it in the performance, in the mind. So what I recommend is the day of the performance, sit down, look through your music and decide how you want it to go. This is just like an athlete visualizing a slalom course or a free throw. Really imagine, how will it sound? How will it feel? What will the expression be? Really try to imagine the whole thing in as much detail as possible. Put yourself into that situation and really visualize and audialize, really hear the whole experience of the performance. And doing that in detail allows you to set an intention for how you want it to go. In last week's video, I talked a lot about how my previous practice approach had been to just tinker and try to sort of generally improve things in like a slapdash way so that I had a million improvements going on when I got to the performance. This is yet another way of just choosing specifically, how will it sound and feel? How will it look? What will the entire experience be? And to just narrow down and choose how you want things to go. That is the pre-performance routine that I would strongly recommend that you do. And that may also be part of, your preparation in the weeks and months in advance, but it's really essential to reconnect with that and just think through it on the day of the performance. The second part of this is when you first walk onto the stage. I think it is really important to take a second to reconnect to your physical body. So I said a lot of this was mental. It really is, but singing, as I've said many times, is a thing you just have to do with your body. And it does not matter how long I perform. Every time I get on stage, I just have to tell myself, breathe. Take a breath down into your body. It is so easy to just hold your breath when you're nervous. So when I get up there, in the instant before I'm going to sing, I really try to feel my feet on the floor, feel my whole body, especially from the neck down, and take a breath that moves low into my body to really ground myself down. And then we're into it. Then I'm performing. So when we're actually in the moment of singing and starting to make sound, I told you in last week's video that my old way used to be to try to apply every single thing that I had tinkered with in my practice and then immediately it wouldn't start to work right. And I would feel like I was sort of watching a slow motion car crash, or in a bad dream, that I was just watching all of my technical ideas kind of go out the window. It turns out that this is actually quite common, that one of the main reasons for choking is actually trying to micromanage your technique. So please don't do what I do. Don't believe in the fallacy that more sophisticated performers, professional performers, are able to juggle all those million technical ideas at once. They don't. In fact, what you want to do when you get on stage is to just sing and forget about the technique, the little details, and really just sing, express, experience the music. Now, I think that is a great idea. I believe in it. There are a lot of times when it's hard for me to do. I have a very busy brain, and there are times when telling my brain just sing is going to leave me vulnerable to falling back into that trap of micromanaging. And so for me, I have found that a technique that is extraordinarily helpful is audiating in real time. So by that, I would be hearing that ideal version that I really chose and created earlier that day, to hear that and create it in my mind simultaneously as I'm singing. And ideally, when I'm able to really do this successfully, I'm hearing what's in my head even more than I'm hearing what's coming out of my mouth. So I'm not listening to what's coming out of my mouth, judging it, micromanaging it, and falling down into that trap. I'm really creating the sound in my imagination, even as I make it in the real world. That sounds totally crazy. It's a technique that I learned in Noa Kageyama's course, Performance Psychology Essentials. And this is a course, it's not super expensive, but I will say if you have the money to invest in it, I think it's a really wonderful investment. It changed my life. And this particular technique, which he calls deaf psychics, really made such a difference for me in performance specifically. So the idea is, it's that idea of audiating simultaneously with singing or playing an instrument out loud. And the idea is that you imagine that the audience is deaf and can't hear the sounds that you're making with your mouth or your instrument, but they can hear what you're doing with your brain. So if you're up there thinking, this is going to go badly, I never get this right, then the audience is hearing that. But if you are creating in your mind the pure and beautiful sound, then that's what they're receiving. They are directly receiving that world-class performance. And it is astonishing, the performances I've been able to give. I've even seen recordings of them afterward, because of course you do relinquish quite a bit of control when you're doing this, when you're listening more to what's inside your head than what's coming out of your mouth. So it's a leap of faith. But I will say it is tremendously freeing, and it is a wonderful alternative in terms of the pleasure you can derive from performing to that micromanaging, car crash feeling, self-critical experience that I used to have. So just to recap, the first thing is, on the day of performance, make sure that you have time to set your intention in as much detail as you can of how you want the performance to go. Number 2, when you get on stage, reconnect to your physical earthly body, particularly with the breath, but especially like from the neck down, reconnect to your body. And then when it's time to open your mouth and start singing, use the power of audiation to allow you to just sing and leave all of that technical work behind. So it has worked for me. It has truly made my experience of performing a joyous one, something that I can actually look forward to. I hope that this is how things will go for you too. Maybe you already enjoy performing, and if you do, I'm so happy for you, because it's something that I struggled with for so long, and having it be a joyous part of my musical experience it's like a whole new world. So I hope that you are experiencing success with that also. I look forward to being back with more nuts and bolts singing details next week. In the meanwhile, if this video helped you, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I do a video like this every week, so come back and join me next week. Thank you for your time. Thanks for singing with me, and thank you for practicing.